Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Russian Tier 8 Premium Tank Destroyer, the ISU-152k. Now this is an ISU-152, but with the old school BL-10 gun. The old school BL-10 gun it's just called the troll cannon, and there's a reason for that, and that's because it can be really troll. The one thing it has is 286 pen on its standard round with 329 pen on the APCR round. And that's a big difference to the standard ISU-152, because the standard ISU-152, the tech tree version, has 260 pen on its standard AP with 292 on its premium rounds. So the penetration difference is massive on the ISU-152k, because you easily crush everything you fire at with the pen. If you fire premium, you just can pen everything you ever face, which is great. And honestly, it's a really great gun when it slaps. But honestly, this is a really good tank destroyer. Just like the standard Tech Tree ISU-152. But the Tech Tree ISU-152 is actually better than the premium one. And you might be going, well, you've just said that the gun's really good and it's got this really good penetration on it. Like, better than the standard. That's true. But what you gain in the penetration on the troll cannon compared to the standard ISU-152... you lose a hell of a lot to gain that penetration. And is it worth it? I don't think it is. Because instead of having a 40 km/h top speed on the ISU-152k, on the standard Tech Tree ISU-152, you have 43 km/h top speed. So 3 extra kilometers an hour. In terms of your aim time, you have a 3.5 second aim time on the ISU-152k, but on the standard Tech Tree ISU, you have 3.4 seconds aim time. You've got a base reload of 19 seconds on the ISU-152k, but on the standard Tech Tree ISU-152, standard ISU-152, it's a 17.6 second reload. Your accuracy on the 152k is 0.43, on the Tech Tree ISU, 0.41. The track traverse is 26 degrees a second on the standard ISU, but on the premium one, it's only 18 degrees a second. And you have 100 less horsepower per ton. Sorry, 100 less horsepower on the engine on the premium compared to the Tech Tree. So generally, nearly every other stat on the premium tank is worse than the Tech Tree version. Except for that penetration, which that penetration is absolutely glorious. I'm never going to doubt that. It's absolutely fabulous penetration that destroys everything it ever faces. And to be honest, it's just a premium version of the ISU-152, which again, like I say, is an absolutely fabulous tank destroyer. So it is what it is. But yeah, so that's the buyers beware in the fact that really, if you're going to pick this tank up, just go grind through the Russian tank destroyer Tech Tree and get the standard ISU-152 for free. And you'll be able to play a tank that's pretty much the same as this tank, but better, right? But I still like it. I still like the tank, and that's because, well, I'm an alpha whore, and I absolutely adore having such high damage at the tier. And obviously the penetration is something else that's fabulous as well. And troll cannon is troll cannon. It hits the most ridiculous shots at times that you sit there going, how did that hit? And at other times it just misses shots that you sit there going, you what, mate? How did you miss that? You know? So, yeah, in terms of a crew on the ISU-152k, I do run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Track Mechanics, Steady Aim, Camouflage Expertise, Muffled Shot, and Clutch Braking. Clutch Braking because, especially, like I say, the track traverse at 18 degrees a second is pretty tragic. So you want to make that track traverse as good as you possibly can with clutch braking. I mean, if you wanted to run traction system to also add to the track traverse, that's up to you. I wouldn't. But yeah, the track traverse is awful. So you want to make that better with clutch braking. You want to make the camo better on this TD because having really good camo on this tank will help you in a lot of situations. You might see that in the next replay as well. And staying unspotted is a great thing for a tank like this because you can absolutely slap. By the way, I make a mistake here. You see how I'm firing through this bush and it's still opaque? If I'd actually pulled back and the bush wasn't see-through anymore, I probably wouldn't have got spotted by that Type 4 Heavy. That's a mistake. But yeah, so you've got clutch braking, and I take track mechanic on this as well because I'm a turretless tank destroyer and I want to be able to get my tracks back on quicker if I do get tracked and I don't have my repair kit. In terms of equipment, I do run the rammer, camo net, and optics as well. Optics to be able to spot for myself because you do only have 350 meters view range, which is poor, so you want to make that better. Camo net to make my camo again even filthier, which is great because it doesn't have the best base camo, but if you put the camo skill on and the camo net, you get it down to a decent level. And then the rammer, obviously, to make your reload better, because 19 seconds base reload is pretty slow. But if you knock it down with rapid reload and the rammer and that, you'll get it down to a decent amount. And as you've seen that first game, we managed to play very aggressively, and we managed to do a decent amount of damage. We finished with a victory, 3 kills, 5.7k damage, 528 assistance, the ace tanker and the high caliber, 2,000 exactly base XP, bang on 2,000, satisfying number. Really nice game for the ISU-152k. That was sort of me playing it more aggressively. It doesn't come off that well that often if you do play it aggressively like that, because you don't really have much armour, except for on the gun mantlet. The gun mantlet is really strong on both ISU-152s, and you can bait shots onto that, basically. If people shoot that, they most likely won't pen. But if they hit either side of the gun, more likely they will. So we're on to the second replay. And the second replay, we are on Westfield, where our stealth will probably be a lot more useful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push into the middle area at F7. Everyone knows that little location, F7, G7, 8, 6, whatever you want to call it. That sort of area around that middle area, you will be able to, as a tank destroyer, get a lot of shots, especially if someone spots for you. But currently I'm looking at this map as I'm coming this way and thinking, there is no light tanks. And no medium tanks have decided to come over this way as well to try and spot for anything. They've all gone to the position at F0. A lot of my team has gone the other way. And I'm thinking, is this going to work? Because without a spotter for a position like this, the ISU-152k might not do too well. Because obviously I don't have the view range, I'm going to have to push very aggressively into a very aggressive position to be able to spot for myself. I'm looking at this going, do I want to sit here and just wait and see if something gets spotted and try and shoot it? No, you know what? I'm going to boost my view range with food, and we're going to try and move into a bush somewhere and see if we can light something up. And there we go. We do end up spotting the Panther, and here you can see I'm using the bush effectively. I pull through the bush to where it's see-through, and then when I'm going to fire, I pull back into a position where it's no longer see-through, and it will give me the best camo I can have, and I fire, and I don't get spotted. We fired there at the Black Prince and actually hit that VK 16801P or whatever, the unskinned Mauerbrecher. We actually hit that tank blind shooting at the Black Prince. As you can see, we're not really lighting anything up at the minute, which is kind of awkward, but those two heavy tanks are kind of getting lit up at K7, so we're just being wary. I don't feel comfortable at this moment in time pushing too much further forward, because if I do get spotted here, they do have a few guns over there, and that won't be good for me. I'm just sort of watching my team thinking, can anyone move up to try and spot them, please? The heavy tank gets lit up there, the TNH-105-1000. He's pushed into a really bad place for himself. And it's like, well, don't mind if I do slap a shot in. This is where we just got to be that little bit patient, right? And again, this is where the camo is really nice for us, because we're not getting spotted while firing at these guys. And those other heavies are in a similar position to where we spotted them a minute ago, because you've seen shell tracers flying. And again, I'm thinking, I'm nearly at the point now of, do I move forward and find another bush location? But just as we go, it's like, oh, there's the Black Prince. But you know what? Let's slam a shot at that hammer. Goodbye, Mr. Hammer. Hammer time. Da, 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 da. Off with his head. Da, 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 da. Beautiful hammer rack. It's 152. It's a 152mm gun. If it hits that sort of place on an ammo rack or something, it's going to happen. And we detonated it. Now the 45-2A has decided that he's just seen his friends blow up, and he's decided, you know what, I'm going to do that too. And he's pulled forward, we've slapped a big shot into his side, and again, this is where our camo is doing fabulously, because we are not getting spotted. We fire again, shut down the 45-2A, and we have not been spotted yet, and we've managed to do 5k damage. This sort of situation is where pushing your camo to the limit is the best thing to do for this tank destroyer, because you can stay unspotted and you can just work teams over with this fantastic gun, because it is a fantastic gun, and you can absolutely slap up. That's it. You could do exactly the same in this tank as you've seen in this tank in the tech tree version as well. The tech tree version being better in a lot of different ways, except for the pen, as I've pointed out. they are two fantastic sets of tanks for this kind of gameplay of just absolutely slapping. So there we managed to slap a big shot into the 16801p, there we go, the unskinned Mauerbrecher, but we get lit up because this Ferdinand was sitting there in the bushes. But fortunately enough for me, I also spot him. We end up slapping the big shot through his side for 500, kill the Ferdinand. We got a lot of assistance there as well for spotting that guy, and a little bit of a spotting for the unskinned Mauerbrecher as well. But now there's only one tank left on the enemy team. It's the Canadian Jagdpanzer 105, and he gets shut down. And a very quick game there in the ISU-152k. We finished with the epic victory, 4 kills, 5.8k damage, 1700 assistance. Ace tanker, the high caliber, 2,178 base XP. A really great game for the ISU-152k. A really big juicy ammo rack in there as well, which was nice. It's a great tank destroyer. Both the ISU-152k and the ISU-152 are both fantastic turretless tank destroyers. They slap hard, and they're just really satisfying to play, for me anyway, just because of that alpha, and I love that sort of thing. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.